Hi folks, my name's Adam. I'm going to give you a tutorial today on how to make flow sheets for mineral processing with the yEd software. So just to be clear, I work for Transmin and we're not associated with yWorks or the yEd software, and we are donating some icons to the industry so that they can be used with the software, but we're not providing any warranties with that. So there's different degrees of flow sheets that people use in industry. The simplest one is just this sort of block diagram that you can put together in Excel, and it's kind of functional and clean, but it's not very pictorial, and people do like to see a nice picture. The other end of the spectrum, you got the full processing. Piping instrument diagrams or process flow diagrams that you'd have from an engineering company, typically formatted on an A3 page, so it doesn't translate very well to PowerPoints or Word documents, and quite complicated because a lot of detail in them. So what we're talking about here are these simpler flow sheet diagrams where it's a little bit pictorial, but simple, compact, and can be used for things like PowerPoint and Word and memos and things like that. So there's lots of options out there, from Excel to simulation software like LIMS, and an excellent simulation software, but it's overkill if you just want to draw a simple flow sheet. There's commercial software out there like Visio and whatnot, which is quite expensive and does a good job. It has quite a big learning curve. And what we found is this yEd software is for free, and we think it's the best of the bunch. We just the whole motivation for us doing this and sharing this icon library and how to do this is basically we're sick of looking at these nasty flow sheets on conference presentations and 43 101 reports. As an industry, I think we can do better. So just go to yworks.com. This is the page where they have the yEd software for download. You have to search for it a bit on the web page, but you go to the products and find yEd, and you can download it for all these different systems. Check the license for yourself, but we understand that it's free for commercial use. And then you would want to go to flowsheets.org, which is a non-commercial website that we've put together to help promote flow sheets in the mineral processing industry. And there you can find icons and stream palettes for yEd for download. So you just have to download those and then go to the edit menu in yEd. And then at the bottom here, there's the manage palette. And then you can import those palettes into yEd. Okay, so basic pointers on how to draw a flow sheet. Start off in the top left and then it comes out in the bottom right. So all the inputs should come in from the left and all the outputs should come out on the right. And generally speaking, the flow sheet should flow from the top left to the bottom right. Try to minimize the number of stream crossings because it reduces legibility. And so you just kind of move the icons around to be able to get that kind of layout. Exercise restraint, use of colors. Recommendation is just to use black for stream connectors, because as soon as you start to apply different colors for different kinds of streams, like ore and water and reagents and things like that, when using different colors, it becomes a mess pretty quickly and doesn't actually help with legibility. It actually takes away from it. And use standardized symbols, which I'll talk more about. Try to make sure that you don't overcomplicate this kind of diagram. This isn't for construction. This isn't for engineering. This is just for communicating process, the process concept. So, you don't have to include things like pumps and conveyors because they crowd the diagram, and it's actually difficult for formatting and layout if you include that kind of equipment. And it really does not play an active part in the process. It's just support, so don't put them. Rather just connect the active and useful unit operations with just streamlines. Exclude parallel trains because if you've got one ball mill or two, it doesn't matter. You just understand that there's ball milling, unless of course the whole point of the diagram is to explain each piece of equipment, in which case go for it. But in most cases, when you're just trying to communicate a flow sheet idea, you don't want to include parallel equipment. Like for example, the cyclone here, we understand that there's going to be a cyclone cluster, but pictorially it's a lot easier to just put it there as a single cyclone. Exclude things like reagent preparation. By all means, say that you're adding reagent at whatever point, but no need to have the xanthate bag going into the mixing tank and then a pump taking that to the dosing tank and then a pump taking that to each point in the plant. It's just too much information. The diagram's not going to be easy to read. So just exclude that kind of information from the flow sheet as much as you can. Exclude banal processed water. So, you know, in this case, for example, we've got a sag milling plant. There's definitely going to be processed water going in the sag mill, probably spray water on the pedal screen. There's going to be more water going in the ball mill discharge and the cyclone unflow and all this. But if we put all the water in all those different points, we're not going to understand the most important flows, which is what we're trying to describe. And use appropriate battery limits. So you don't have to put everything in one massive diagram. Here we've got a nice SAB circuit to show the grinding arrangement, and just keep that by itself. It's just really nice and elegant by itself. We don't need to have the entire flow sheet included. So the Transmin mineral processing icons that we're sharing, they're designed to be simple, generic, square, and iconic. So they're not exactly square, but they're kind of square. And the idea is that, you know, they fit together nicely on the page, and they're not meant to be, you know, a literal photo of the equipment. It's just meant to give you a visual clue as to what it is. And they've all been drawn in the SVG format using the Inkscape software. And on the website, it explains if you do want to do your own icons, there's an explanation about what colors and line widths and things like that to use in order to make your own icons, which you can do. And if you do make more icons, please send them on and we'll include them in the updates. So the first thing to do once you're up and running in yEd is to find this button here, which is going to activate orthogonal stream connections. So as you can see here that there's square lines that go horizontal then vertical between the different ones. This is the most traditional way of doing it, and I think people's favorite way to see the lines. You know, having diagonal lines on flow sheets is difficult to read. So you can choose that here from the edge type, but also you can click this button here and force it to be automatically orthogonal. So go ahead and hit that button. And also the bridge styles, because you will eventually have some streams that will cross, and so the bridge over those crossings is important, and there's different styles. My favorite one is the semicircle, but you find this in the Edit Preferences display menu. So you come to the display tab and then you change the bridge style and you hit OK. Once you've got that, you're ready to draw some flow sheets. So here on the right hand side of the screen is the palette. You just grab it with your mouse, grab the icon and pull them in here onto the flow sheet, and then you literally just drag the line from each unit to the next one, and it's going to draw the connection for you. So please do not scale the icons. The way the technology works, if you scale them, they're going to look like crap. So just don't do it. Just keep them the size they are, and there is no flip function. So if you wanted, for example, a feeder or something like that to go the other way around, unfortunately, yEd doesn't have that. And that is one of the limitations of the software. Another limitation is that there's no anchor points. So if you wanted to automatically come in and out of a certain point, you can't do that. But you can move the streams around once they're on there. You just have to put your mouse over the top and drag them up and down. So thanks to the sponsors, like I say, Transmin is sharing this icon palette with industry, metallurgical consultants based in the UK and Peru. And they also have a cancer geometallurgical software, which if you're doing geometallurgy, it's definitely the best software you can use. Okay, so thanks for your time.